Welcome back to Face of Success. Me and Vandrick here with some very interesting guests. I would like to start from my right. Introduce yourselves, who you are, and why you're here today.
Hi, I'm Sharon, and I'm here with Choices of Freedom and just sharing stories about the unjust that have been done to me and people of color in the community, and a really traumatic incident that happened 2 weeks ago with an unhinged man that had a rifle. And I just feel that the situation should be addressed, and just want to bring awareness to the community of what's going on here.
I'm Ashley. I'm here to share my story of just growing up as a young Black woman out here in society with my father, who's been incarcerated for almost 38 years in Pelican Bay State Prison. So I would like to come on the platform and just share a little bit of my experience.
Thank you.
And my name is Shalalah. I'm also here to bring awareness of our Black culture here in Reno, also as well, with Faces of Success as well, and the discrimination that also happened here in Reno. I would like to be an advocate here to the broken people as well, and I'm just here to also just reach out and just be an advocate for those that are in need of just purity, respect. So thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you. So,
I'm Vandrick. As always, I'm just here to share my experience, strength, and hope, and facilitate change.
thank you. So with that said, interesting, Ashley, father, you said how many years he has done?
My mom was pregnant with me when he went to prison.
Oh.
So I'll be 38 years old this year in September, if God says so.
Is he a lifer or does he have?
He's a lifer, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting because me and Vandrick, we were lifers as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we also go inside Pelican Bay, but we didn't know you, we don't know your father, but
Yeah.
we're very familiar with what he's going through, and we're very familiar with what our daughter, we both have kids.
Mm-hmm.
So my biggest thing in prison, I didn't want to be honest with my daughter and tell her that I was sentenced to 25 years of life. I told her I was in college. Have your father told you what he was in there for, or how did you deal with knowing that he was there?
I think as I got older, he started opening up to me about different things, how he ended up. It was like a conspiracy type of charge that he had. When I was younger, I wasn't really aware of what was really going on. My mom had remarried at the time. I would say about when I was like 2 or 3. So as I got older, the only father that I knew was my stepfather. But at maybe about 6, 7, 8 years old, I remember I used to go visit my grandmother, and she would allow my biological father to call collect. And that's how I found out that my biological father was in prison. Because I'm on the phone, this man telling me my dad. So as a child, I'm confused. I'm like, that's when life started being different. So now I have to try to identify with having a biological father that I don't even know, that I'm trying to build a relationship through letters, through collect calls, and it was a journey. It still is.
Have you went and visited him?
I haven't went and visited him. I haven't visited him lately. It's been a few years. We do communicate. He'll call or we'll write and stuff like that. But I feel like for me, it's kind of hard for me to kind of be vulnerable in a situation, because I feel like a lot of years I used to hold resentment from him by not being there for me. But as I got older, it allowed me to be humble to understand that everybody got their own journey and everybody got things that they go through. And every choice that we make, you know, does come with a consequence. And I thank God that God has kept me protected, and He's kept me where I have my right frame of mind. And, you know, I have to tell Him, because He's in there, He's always worried about me. Because I have siblings. I'm His youngest child. So I was the only one that He was never physically around. So He's always waking up with a state of worry all the time. And I have to tell Him, like, you have to release that worry, and you gotta trust that I'm okay. Like, you know, like I'm okay.
Right.
You know, I got a family, I got kids I'm raising, I'm fine. So it's been a journey with us though.
Yeah.
It has, yeah.
Yeah, I used to, it was a ritual for me to write my daughter a letter every Sunday, or I sent her a postcard. And I always instilled in her, sometimes I would send recordings, like I would record my voice and I would have music playing in the background, because I didn't think I was gonna ever get out of prison. I had 25 years of life, and I said, if something ever happened to me, because I was violent in prison, it was race riots, I didn't know if I was gonna make it, right? So I wanted her to know what I was in jail, so I used to get on my recorder and just tell my story. So, and I sent it to her, and by the grace of God, I wasn't supposed to be doing this, but I was able to do it. And I think it was God, because my daughter needed, just like you needed something that you didn't know, and it was given to you. How it was given to you, you know, it wasn't the normal way, but you did what you did, and you're doing what you're doing, and that's a beautiful thing, that you communicate with them. You don't hold nothing against him. My daughter never hold nothing against me either. She was conceived while I was in prison and born there and raised there. And when I got out, she was with an older man. I was like, I fought myself. I said, well, if I was there, I could have did it. No, I can't do that. We all have our own journeys, have to go through that. But I supported her. I still support her. And she really changed my life, because when she was born, that's when it changed in me. I wanted to get out of there. I couldn't continue being a gamer. I couldn't continue hanging out and doing the things I was doing. So I had to sit down and look at what caused me to get in this prison, 25 years of life, and how could I get out of here? And I figured it out. It was God. It was God.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like He's always, even though He's been locked up all my life, there's never been a moment where if I ever asked Him for anything, He was always there.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about like car breakdown, he'd make it happen to where I'll get a car.
Mm-hmm.
Like where I've been lowest to the low, and He looked out for me. So I definitely appreciate it. You know, it hasn't been easy, especially, you know, just as a woman, as a little girl. Fathers are so important.
Mm-hmm.
Fathers are needed. And I feel like our society is trying to create a curse where a lot of our Black families, that, you know, it's broken, where the fathers are not in the home. And you know, I went through a lot, like, you know, as an adolescent, growing up as a young woman. You know, I didn't have nobody to pour into me on who I needed to be as a woman. And that's what fathers are, that's where the importance come in, and speaking life over your daughters, and so that they know they worth when they go out to the world, you know, meet men, and, you know, or people just in general, where, you know, you just gained up in life. And I feel like that's something that I did lack, but, you know, I had to learn the hard way with certain things. But I'm very humble to be where I am.
You got any questions for her?
No, I'm just taking it all in, because your story definitely resonate with me, you know.
Yeah.
Being a lifer in prison, having a daughter, I only seen once when she was a baby, and the rest of the time I seen her was in prison. It just took me back until what she told me when I came home. She was glad I was home. She's glad that I was finally free. But she was scared for me, just like she was scared for me in there. She was scared for me out here. And at the same time, I was trying to overcompensate for not being there for her in a physical form. And we kept kind of bumping heads. And one thing that really brought us really closer together is my grandson. She's like, at least he gets to have you. And I seen what my past poor decisions, how it impacted their lives. And I see that my bond with my grandson was much closer than mine with my daughter. And people say, that's your mini-me. And the part that's the mini-me is the part where she's so headstrong and assertive. People call it aggressive, I call it assertive. But she went through a lot, you know. And I know it's tough being a father in there because you realize the reality of the fact is possibly somebody else will be raising your daughter.
Right.
Possibly you're not gonna be there when she really needs you, when she gets into a relationship and those type of things that you had just talked about. And you want the best for your daughter because she's a part of you. Right. And you feel that guilt and shame. I felt that guilt and shame of not being there. The thing that got me through it was my faith in my higher power, knowing that if I give my will to God, then His will be done.
Right.
And it opened the door for her to come to that understanding that I may not be there in the physical form, but I'm going to do everything I can to let you know that you're loved, you're appreciated, and worthy of the respect, and to hold your head and wear your crown from this day forward. From the first time she was a little girl and I seen her in the visiting room, I told her, you're a queen. Right now you're a princess, you're growing to a queen. And when it wasn't until I was home maybe 5 years, and she's like, I don't want to be your princess no more. I'm a queen. I was like, yeah, you're 30 years old. You better be somebody queen. I'm your queen. I was like, and it spoke to my heart, and I knew that part of my change, a very big part of my change, was that guilt and shame of not being there for her that helped me become the person I am today. So I'm saying all that to say, your interaction with your father is making him a better man, a more responsible person, more empathetic and compassionate person, and that will open doors for him to reunite with you in a physical form. Just, it's so easy to get lost in the system and be treated inhumane until you need that kind of connectivity with the outside world, especially your bloodline, to give you a reason to have that hope. As I always say, experience, strength, and hope, that comes from within. That comes from people caring enough about you until you could care about yourself. And making and then that inspires you to make a difference. So I really commend you, and I support your efforts to become the queen that you are, because you're still young. But raising him to the point that he could be a king no matter where he's sitting on his throne. That he could hold his head up high and know, you know what? It's a part of me out there doing the right thing. It's a part of me out there that has the love, the compassion, that don't have to explain to anybody else about their mistakes, because I've paid the path for that by telling the truth about who I am, who I was, and the person I would like to be. So I'm very, very, I'm trying to find the right word. It ain't no word. I just love the fact that you allow him to still be a part of your life and not be replaced. Because as a father, it's nothing worse than feeling replaced because you're not present. So thank you.
I've definitely had my moments where it was very, I mean, to this day, I still struggle with having that closeness with him. It's like, I don't know how to identify with being vulnerable with him because I really don't know him on a physical level.
Right.
So I feel like for a lot of years, I did used to hold a lot of resentment, but then I had to tell myself and switch the narrative, like, I'm not a victim. I gotta be victorious over this.
Absolutely.
And I can't sit here, oh, I never have a daddy in my life, so that's the excuse I'm making for making all these bad choices. Like, no, I had to take some accountability for myself. You're like, you know what, you're a grown woman. God brought you through. God brought you through regardless if he wasn't there or not. So whatever choices you're making from this on out, that's on you. So I'm grateful that I was able to release all the resentment that I had so that I can move forward towards healing. You know, so.
But if I could bring anything to the experience of the effect on Cause I was adopted at the three months, and I was adopted into a family that didn't have any girls, so they had all boys. So they adopted me. What I want to bring to the table, that a woman does need a father figure to give a woman who they are. And my real father didn't raise me. He was incarcerated. But I'm grateful that a family took me in, so I have the ability to know who I am, because my daddy and my 6 brothers raised me, told me every morning, you're beautiful, know who you are. My daddy taught me about finances. I know about carpentry. She was a carpenter. So it's important for a girl to know their father, because I don't experience that mishap of not having one, but I can experience if I know who I am. So there's a reproach on what type of man that I let in my life. He has to be. But I know how to love a man where they are. But men that come in my life, they have to be something. And it's important that, you're right. It is important for a girl to know who they are, because that it just plays a lot of mishaps on what type of man you do have around yourself, what type of man you have around your children. So I commend you for taking the initiative of saying, you know what, I have to be the woman for myself and for my kids, because that takes a lot. And it takes a lot for a woman to have a father. So I commend you, and I appreciate you being in my life, because you are a beautiful soul.
Thank you.
Beautiful soul. So I'm here to testify on your testimony, that even if you don't have one, look how beautiful you are. You're a good soul. You love. You give. I have never met a person in my life. She tell me, all you gotta do, sis, is come over. She have dinner made for you. You know, I mean, just a good soul. If I don't have it, she got it.
How long y'all been knowing each other?
A year.
So you just met her when you moved out here?
I met her cause she worked at my kid's school.
Oh, okay.
That's how we.
So, but it's a blessing that in life, there are certain people that is ordained for you to meet. You just gotta keep swimming through. So I am elated that I met a beautiful woman like this.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I've been in Reno. I'm originally from Stockton, California, born and raised, and I've been in Reno for the last 7 years, solo, and it got hard. I didn't want it to throw in the towel, like, oh, maybe it's time for me to go back home, but something just keep telling me, no, keep going. You gotta find your journey for yourself, and that's what I've been on.
Wow, I can't believe it's only been a year. They're like a kindred spirit going on there.
It is.
It's like a sisterhood spirit.
We found out we're from the same tribe, because actually how we met, her daughter ran up to me at school and said, you look just like my mama. I'm like, huh? For real, seriously. And when she met me actually the first time at a nail shop, because I was getting my nails taken off, and every time I took a nail off, I was like, so that's how we really met. And I went up to her, I said,
She was like, you work at my kid's school.
I said, I've been seeing you. Let me tell you something. This woman was coming to school, dropping her kids off, immaculate from head to toe. I'm talking about, she got to drop her baby off at 9. What woman, makeup on, nice. No, I'm serious. And when I seen that, I said, oh, I got to connect with her. Yes. And she said, sis, I was going through.
And
she showed him wear it.
When I met her, I was going through a dark time. Me and my kid's father was going through a very bad separation at the time. And something just kept putting in my spirit, like, you gotta get, when you look good, you feel good.
Right.
When you feel good, you look good.
That's right.
And sometimes people will look at you and they don't even know what you have been through.
Right.
They say you don't look like what you've been through.
Right.
That's right.
So if we just put in our mind, okay, let me get up, let me still continue my program, let me let me look good for me. Let me feel good for me. Let me, so that's how me and her met.
Right. And that's what I see. That's what I see in you. When me and Vic met you, we didn't know you had all this stuff going on.
Yeah.
But now all this stuff is coming out.
Yeah.
We wanna take it a little further because we're inside prisons. We're in a women prison that they don't need to hear our story. They need to hear women's stories. Right? We're in men's prison and women. But the unique part about this is that we know you, we know y'all, we know y'all stories. Those women in there are like women that hit rock bottom, whether it's drug, whatever it is, it's there. And they need somebody to come. Like our program's only 6 weeks. We run a trauma program. We show Maya Angelou movie the first day. They eat popcorn, it's fun, and then we tell them, look at the things in this movie. In Maya Angelou movie, she was raped by another black man. Look at that. That's trauma. She was exposed to the Jim Crows and the Little Rock, Arkansas, and all those places. Right. Look at all those. And then next week we talk about it. And then all of the weeks, 6 weeks, is handouts. And we talk about stuff in the handouts, but it's more stuff come up in that prison because that prison right now is under federal investigation, all kind of stuff. You got women in there being raped, you got trans, you got a lot of stuff in there. And we need women like y'all to come in. We'll pay for your
fellowship as well too. We fellowship as well too.
Right, God, we need that.
We don't just
like,
fellowship,
right.
we manifest things to where it literally happened. This right here is a manifestation that
Right.
we seen.
Yeah.
It's ministry is not just about showing up. Ministry is about pouring into people at every aspect. And if I can sing to minister to you, if I can give you a hug, ministry is everything within you.
Right.
If you're talking about a story, let the story arise in us. Sometimes people just need a hug.
Right.
Sometimes people just need a text and say, good morning.
Right.
We never know. That's why I treat people with the utmost respect, because I don't know.
Right.
So thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah,
I
I'd love to advocate.
because what we have is seeds. I tell people like this: if you want some of my wisdom, here go a little bit. This is wisdom.
Right.
Y'all got wisdom. What y'all been through? You're dropping seeds on the earth for people that needs it.
Right.
And this is our time.
This is our time.
I'm serious.
And
I
this-
feel it.
And this is the reason why I think Pearl and all of us did nothing happen, because our time, and God is all over this. He's like blessing us. Man, been blessed with so. We came out of prison 10 years, 9 years, and God, I don't want to say we have, but God has blessed us where we don't need anything.
Amen.
Not to say we better than anybody, but He's saying, look, I've shown you hell, because that's what prison for me was.
Yes, it is.
And I took you out of there, and I'm helping everybody I can. If I can, whatever I give, whatever. And some people look at that, I'm gonna play, I'm gonna get this. You ain't playing me, you playing God, because you can get something from me and God will take it from you. By the time you get to your house, He won't even be there. Right? So it's like, it's a ministry, and I'm glad you said that, because we're all God-fearing people, whether we believe in Islam, Christianity, whatever. It's God, right? It's God.
Right.
And you have anything you want to say? You have a cousin that was in. How did you deal with him? How was that for you?
I have a cousin that was, did 15 years in Mule Creek Prison. And we grew up together. We're 4 months apart, and we were in every single class. And he had my back, and we're more like brother, sister. And it was really hard to see him locked up and him calling me every day, and the phone bills and the letters and the stamps. And I'll never forget, we were talking on the phone, and then an altercation broke out, and all I heard were the prison guards yelling, stand down, and I'm freaking out because I'm not knowing what's going on.
So when they say that, that means get down. So he had to get down on the ground. Go ahead.
Yeah, and so just hearing him talk and trying to keep him encouraged, and I would send him pictures and write him all the time. It was sad because we got a big family. A lot of people died along the way, uncles, aunts, and, you know, me sending that, letting them know, you know, but you gotta stay strong, and, ordering his boxes every quarter, you know, and things like that, and I don't know, and I remember picking him up from Ion, or driving out, and it was the longest drive of my life, and it took like 3 hours before he actually was released, like it was late, however the processing, whatever they do, and I just remember when he came out, we just hugged, and he was tripping out because at that time, the cars, you know, I had the navigation, I could talk on the phone in my car, and that was all new coming out, security system, so he was just like, wow, you know, and driving down the road because he hasn't seen anything other than being maybe taken out of prison to go to a hospital or something, but I just remember I took him to the store, and my girl cousin, he wanted to be in the middle of us. And he would fight, always putting deuce in, but just looking over his shoulder all the time like this. And then, you know, he was skinny when he came out, and he gained so much weight because he wanted to eat everything. Everything. I mean, like bags of candy, and he just got big. And I was like, what is going on here? But just seeing all that he took for granted that he missed. But let me just digress. The hard thing was begging him before he got locked up, because he was in and out, because he got into drugs, but begging him, telling him someday grandma's not going to be able to save you, grandma and grandpa. So the district attorney called me, and I had to go to court on his behalf, and she tried to pretend like I was her friend, like butter me up to turn on my cousin, which I knew better, you know, smarter than that. But I'll just never forget when the judge hit the gavel, is that what you call it, and said 20 years. And I just remember him screaming, locked up, and they just took him out, and that was it, that quick. And he could have got out in 9 years on good behavior, but he just kept popping off, you know, and they made him serve out all 15, and it's been a struggle still trying to get him to get on track, you know.
Is he out?
He's out. He's been out about 9 years, but I think about 9 years, but you know, he doesn't unfortunately have the drive that these two gentlemen here have.
What's the choice?
Because my grandma spoiled him, you know, and where we lived, you know, it was affluent, not to be like whatever, but so he was spoiled. And I said, you know, you gotta work, they're not gonna give it to you. You gotta get out there, you gotta pull your pants up now, it's time to grow up. And so, you know, I've spoke to him about what these two gentlemen, Nate, has done with his life and the direction he's trying to go, and like, you gotta stop with the excuses. You know, I've been free my entire life, and it's been a struggle, you know, but I still grind because that's my mentality, you know, and I just hope he can get there. And I'm glad that there are systems and companies and businesses that can assist. You know what I mean? But, you know, some of the conversations that I've learned has been here and there and trial and error, because I think he needs a man to talk to about what he went through in prison. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can read between the lines, and I've heard my guy cousins talk to him. I don't really go there, but I know he needs someone to talk to.
He needs to be in a reentry with other people like him. I wouldn't even recommend him going home. I recommend he go to a reentry, because home, like you don't know what we go through. So only somebody that's trained, or somebody that's been like me and him, we know what we need. But we're not gonna tell y'all, right? And we embarrassed to ask you, 'cause as a man especially, I don't wanna keep asking, but I might ask one time, but I'm not gonna ask again. and you're not gonna wanna keep taking care of me
Right.
if I'm not working. So it's two types of people. You got the working person, you got the person that's gonna be in and out. And those are the type of people that we work with to try to get them to come up to our level.
Maybe institutionalized.
Right,
Yes,
institutionalized.
yes.
What does that mean, institutionalized?
That means they've been programmed.
Right.
And our job is to mentor them and deprogram them.
Right,
And then it's like hitting basically a reset button. The
Unlearn
seed's been
to
planted.
relearn.
Yes.
Right, exactly. Because the seed's been planted.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it takes people who've been where you've been and then did what you did and survived to take away your excuses.
mm-hmm.
The men and women I deal with, they like, you don't understand, and I just laugh and smile, and I'm like, okay, really? Or you don't understand, you don't get it. I said, you don't get it. You had an easy walk.
Right, right.
The walk that I walked in there was pure hell, and you had to do some things to survive that you're not proud of.
Right.
You here, you're alive, you got all your fingers, all your parts, and you have the youth on your side.
Right.
You didn't do 20, 30, 40 years.
Right.
So you did enough time to get your attention, but you have the excuses because society will tell people, well, you have a record, so this can't happen for you.
Mm-hmm.
Or you've been there, you've been a loser all your life.
Mm-hmm.
You're a loser because you didn't choose to win.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You're a loser if you accept that philosophy
Mm-hmm.
that somebody else is putting on you. You have to change the way you think about yourself to change your condition. And it was I would say, I'll just call it a scripture. Someone give me, it says, God or your higher power won't change the condition of a person until you first change the condition for yourself. So you have to let yourself be vulnerable, and that's the word you use on it. You gotta let yourself be vulnerable, because vulnerability is a gift you give to those who trust when you trust yourself.
Right.
So,
And can't you go a little further with that? Because it says, trust with your heart.
That's right.
And if you can't trust with your heart, no. I'm messing up. Say it right. Say it right.
that's,
I said
You
it
said
right.
right.
Man, I know I said it right. See,
you know what the
I
trick
said it
is?
in a while. I need to
Right.
say it, keep saying it, because that's a good one.
It is.
That's a
That-
good one.
And I was with a young guy this weekend. You know, my son turned 21, so we did our
Yeah, happy birthday.
we did our rite of passage that we do because I want him to have all his rights. He's 21 with no record, working, trying to go to school, trying to be the man that I wish I would have been at his age. By the time I was 17, I was already in somebody's prison, forced to be a man and do some things to other men to show that I am a man, which is crazy. I'm saying that to say one of the things he asked me with his buddies, he was out there with his buddies, we did the little 21st birthday thing with him, and they looked like, can we call you Pops? I'm like, don't y'all got dads? Not like you. And then some didn't know their dads, some couldn't talk to their dads. Like, well, I told them the thing about me is that I realized when I was a child, I spoke as a child. I understood as a child, and I did childish things. But when I became a man, I put those childish things away. I told them the only way I became a man is I watched it, someone had to role model that for me. And I didn't become a man at 18 or 21. I became a man in my 30s because that's when I seen a person role model what a man is by his deeds and not his lip service.
Right.
And to hear them say that, and I watched their face, and they're like, "You always got some cool ass sayings." I like it. I'm glad you see it as a cool saying, but I want you to think about it because it's a way of being and a way of growing and a way of developing. Because today you're 21.
Right.
Before you know it, you're gonna be 41, and they'll be calling you Pops, OG, old head.
That's
So,
hard.
and that's a blessing. So don't think it's not.
Yeah.
And we just laugh. And
Yeah.
when my son's grandmother came out, she won't tell nobody her age. She came out and she said, "Finally." I'm like, "What do you mean finally?" Finally, men are coming out to take back their position as men in the families, because we tried and we did for so long. So,
Yeah. And with that, we're gonna run out of time. We're gonna have to close out. You got any closing statements you wanna make? Everybody, starting with you, V.
I just want to say that I'm really motivated and inspired by you women being here, and women are the backbone of civilization. You are our first nurses, our first teachers, and you're the ones that make us great. So continue to advocate and fighting and supporting the men in your life, and the men. When I say the men in your life, every male that you come upon, let them see your spirit. Let them see you wear your crown. Whether they respect it or not, they will come to respect it, because nothing would deter you from being who you are, and that's standing in the graces and helping us become better men. So I thank you.
And this has been a wonderful platform as well. I appreciate you, strong men. Thank you for your stories, for the pathway that you choose, but you came back. I'm telling you, it takes a real man to turn from their wicked ways.
Amen.
So I appreciate y'all. And just thank you for letting me just be a part of this. I appreciate it.
I just wanted to add to that, or add my 2 cents. I was telling some of my family and friends, close friends, that Mr. Williams here, out of a lot of the men that I've met in my life, is doing more than, he's doing more than what I've seen the average man who's never been to jail do. That drive, getting up, you know, for church and just trying to do the right thing. And so I definitely stand behind these 2 men, because I'm a witness.
Thank you. They said that about both of us too.
Yeah.
Ashley.
Yeah, just I'm very, very grateful to be here and share my story. I know this is not it. This is just the beginning, and I have so much gratitude for what God is getting ready to do. And I just want to say, to back up my story, that for anybody out there that might be struggling with a parent that might be incarcerated, that's not the end. I thank God that I was never on the streets. I didn't get caught up in prostitution. I didn't get caught up in alcoholism, drugs. And I'm totally grateful that God has kept me protected all my life, in the midst of not having my physical father around, that I know that my spiritual father has been guiding me through my life. I'm grateful, totally grateful.
Thank you. She said it. It's about God. God is all over this.
Yes, he is.
And we'll be back with some more of these women's exciting stories. Stay tuned. Thank you. Peace out, y'all. So I was trying to end it because she had to use the restroom.